Hi, I hope you're doing fantastic. Today we're going to be covering how to do the blind test to ensure that you always make the right move inside of your mixes. Hi, my name's Tyson. I'm a mastering engineer here at Dinosaur Dog Mastering, and today I'm going to show you a really simple trick to ensure that you're making the right moves inside of your mix every single time, and I can guarantee that. Before I show you the blind mixing technique, I do want to let you know that I have the ultimate mixing checklist available for download, so not only will you ensure you're making the right moves, you're making them at the right time inside of your mixes to ensure that you have better and faster mixes. So make sure you're downloading that guide. I know it's going to be super helpful for you in your mixing journey. It's the same exact checklist that I use in all of my mixes as well. Okay, with that said, let's dive straight into the content of how to use the blind mixing technique to ensure you make the right moves in your mix every single time. Today, I'm going to teach you exactly how to make changes in your mix confidently every single time. And that may seem like a dream, but it is extremely possible just using one very simple technique. The first step in doing this is actually making a change. And this doesn't matter what type of change you're going to make. In this example, I'm going to use EQ, but the same thing applies for compression, effects, anything that you're going to do inside of your mix. You can use this technique. The first step is I'm going to add a virtual mix rack to this guitar. I'm going to be EQing this particular guitar here and wait for my computer to actually do stuff. All right, so now that I have my actual guitars set up here, so I'm going to quickly dial in some channel saturation here, and then also I'm going to EQ this. So let's listen to the mix as a whole, and then this is the guitar we're after. So here's the mix. So when we're EQing this, we can see there's definitely some, kind of low rumble that we probably don't need. So we're going to EQ that out. So let's bump this up probably to 70 hertz or so. Let's listen to that. And I'm going to just quickly dial in some EQ. It looks like we're need a little bit more top end. I want this to be really aggressive and cutting through this mix. So let's try to boost around 1.5 kilohertz or so. And then we'll also cut around 500. I'm just going to do this really quick. I'm not being too exact about this. This is not really about EQ. Okay, let's listen to that. Yeah, I think that's a lot nicer. Okay. Okay, so I think I like that better, but let's actually test this. So the first thing to do is I'm going to add a metering plugin, and this is going to be just a level meter. I'm going to want to use RMS, which is the average volume, and I'm going to disable my EQ change. So it looks like my average RMS is around minus 21.6. So let's enable it now. Okay, so it looks like my average volume with the change is actually 1 decibel louder. So what I want to do is I'm going to trim that just a little bit, and this is just a normal just gain plug-in here. Essentially, you could use this external gain plug-in too. It doesn't matter, or if you have an actual gain knob on your EQ itself, you can also use that. Doesn't matter. The point is to have an equal volume before and after the change so that we're not tricked by something sounding louder than another option, and then therefore we're going to think it sounds better just because it's louder. So we're avoiding that at all costs. And this is really the true version of gain staging. Once we have all of our levels at a good place, we're not changing those levels as we go through and mix our song. Those should always remain consistent as we go through. Now that we know that our change is going to be the same before and after in terms of volume wise, what we're going to do is just click this a whole bunch with our eyes closed so we don't know whether the change is on or off, listen in context, and decide which change we like more. So I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to play it, and I'm going to flip back and forth, and again, I'm going to be blind, so I don't know which version is on versus off. I am just listening to the change. And then whichever one I like better, I can then decide to move forward with that change. Close my eyes, switch a whole bunch. I don't know if it's on or off, and I'm going to hit play. Okay, so this right now sounds a little bit darker, a little bit more muddy. This one sounds harsher, more upfront and forward. And so that's kind of what I guessed. This is enabled on. Honestly, after listening to that, I'm not sure. I think I went a little bit too much. I think I'm gonna back this off just a little bit, maybe 50% of what I had. Also this one. Right, I didn't notice that when I was looking at the screen because there's all these colors going on. I wasn't really truly listening to it. But with your eyes closed, then you can really just listen and engage with the audio itself rather than being distracted by, the metering, the PAS analyzer over here, etc. So at this point, there are two possible outcomes from your test. You can either like the change. If that's the case, then you leave the change on and then move on to the next step of your mixing process or the next instrument. You successfully validated your change was good, and then you can move on. The second option is if you don't like the change you made, you can do one of two things. You can either try again. So maybe I didn't like this change. And so, for example, I liked it better than the original, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. So I then adjusted it. I would go back and redo my whole blind test to make sure that I like this change more. Okay, so that's one option. One option is just try again. The second option is to just not do any change. Maybe this particular guitar does not need to be EQ'd. And so then I can just take the plugin off and move on. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't do my blind test first. So if I didn't try to EQ it, do my blind test, if I had just EQ'd it and then left it, not knowing that I was actually harming this guitar, I wouldn't have known that if I didn't do my blind test. So it's super powerful, very, very simple. Again, you just close your eyes, do some changes back and forth, and see if it sounds better or worse. And again, you can use this with any change that you make, whether it's compression versus EQ versus an effect that you're adding, etc. Make sure you're gain staging it so that it's the equal volume before and after, and then do your blind test. It's very simple, very powerful, and I know that you're gonna get way better results from your mixes by doing this very simple technique throughout your mixing process. All right, thanks for watching. If you found this at all helpful, don't forget to subscribe as I release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to help you get more professional mixes. And also, if you haven't already, make sure that you're getting your ultimate mixing checklist down below in the first link in the description. All right, with that said, I will see you in the next one.